30 seconds to go. We on this Get Rolling stage 1. On this race, I decided to combine 2 races. I did one Tuesday before I left to go to work. And when I got back Friday, I wanted to get back on Swift before I got ready for Saturday, because I'm doing 6 races Saturday. So I wanted to get ready for that. So I got up and I did a get ready at about 4:10 on Friday afternoon. So here we go. We're down to 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And on this one, if you notice, I got a great start. Even though I sped them up because it's 2 races, and 2 races long would have been like 40 minutes. So I cut this thing down to about 18 minutes. So it's both races. I do the start, and the last 1,000 feet of it, I slow it back down. But on this race, I'm racing with a couple of guys. I'm racing with BB, and there's another guy on here named, I want to say his name is A. Jones. And A. Jones and I and BB, we were running pretty good on this race. In some spots, I would lead, some spots they would lead, but it was really a nice race. It was a race that I would compliment anybody who talk about people racing. We had a good one. I know now, the one thing was that this is Tuesday. I've been racing since Thursday of the week before, Thursday, so this is my 5th day in a row running races. I want to say this is like my 10th race in 5 days. So, and plus I did a couple of rides. I think I ended up finishing up that 7-day period with like 120, 130 miles. I know it's not a lot for the Class A, B, and some of the C's, but for me, that's a lot of miles, man. That's a lot of miles. So as we ride this, my goal with this race was to stay. If you notice both races, you're gonna notice this. I'm trying to stay yellow. My goal was the Swift Racing League. I was really looking forward to doing that. I mean, I was aiming high. And then I found out that the league races are on Tuesday. Like I said, besides this week being a holiday weekend here in America, it was Labor Day, and I didn't start working until Monday, except I ended up going to work on Tuesday. I'm not home on Tuesday nights. I'm from Monday afternoon to usually Thursday evening, I am totally gone. So, and usually when I come home on Thursday, I try to ride that night. If not, it's usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday I ride. Even like this Monday coming up, I'm gonna leave out the house around 3 o'clock. So I'm gonna try to wake up about 1:30 and catch that 2:10, whatever the new rolling stage race is. And that race, I'll try to catch it right at about 2:10 and run it. And then hopefully I can have enough time to get it up and record it. But I'm doing this race, and as you see, we're doing real good. Now, the thing with this race was I was riding with AJ and BB. BB is really good. I don't know who he is, but man, that guy's good. He's really good. Plus, I gotta admit, let me be honest, I was still kind of tired. So that's no excuse. I've always said everybody's tired. But I was running pretty good on this one. But if you notice, everything is mostly in the yellow. I'm trying to stay between 400 and 450, mostly 390 and 390 to about 430. I'm trying to 80 to 85 pedals. I'm starting to narrow it in. And I think I can push that without my heart rate going wow. And it gives me a chance to relax when I'm riding, but if I need to pick it up a little bit to get up hills, I don't get left behind when I go up to 90 pedals per minute. I increase the power and I don't get left behind. As you can see in this one, we was riding pretty good, but you gotta remember, this is a flat. The flats are mostly made for me. Flats with slight inclines are my homeland. That's where I'm at. I'm at home with those races. So as we come around on this race, I was thinking about, you know, when I find somebody that I like to ride with, like Tandem, Gary Price, Mark, it's a bunch of y'all that I like riding with, man. It's a lot of, and if you notice, I send the little friend request out, and I do that because if I can catch y'all on a race, or if I'm at home and I see that y'all, you know, I get the little response on my phone and they say, y'all up and running, I want to ride with y'all. So with that being said, I'm riding with these guys, and when we get to the end, I decided, okay, cool. We're riding, and I keep looking at AJ stuff. His stuff is going through the roof. Each time he barely touches the pedals, man. He's like flying. So I decided, you know, I'm like, man, I want to be you know, I need a new frenemy. And my arch enemy is Gary. My arch nemesis is Tandem, and you know, I got a couple of more y'all out there, and oh boy, I don't want to start saying off names. So I'm looking at that and I go, okay, cool. I want to be friends with AJ and BB. So I go on there and I go into Swift. I started going into Swift Power just to sometimes check and make sure the thing, you know, if I got the right guy. So I go in there and I look it up and I check his profile. Like, I want to see how many races he's done, what he's done. And if somebody can tell me what it means, but I saw, like, for AJ, he had a lot of races where it was, I want to say HQ and WKG or KGW, whatever it is. It was HR and WKG on a lot of his races. And I didn't understand what that was. And if it wasn't for, if you ever race with me and you go on my profile, the one thing you gonna see that's red, my power numbers probably won't even be red. The one thing you're gonna see red on me is my weight. My weight is 176.5 kilograms. It's gonna show red is all like those, because I think the thing is just not used to somebody being that heavy. But the guy that AJ was 29.5, and it was like, wow. And in my head, I'm going, wow. When I saw that number, I was thinking to myself, man, 29, I wonder how many, you know, pounds an hour. Look, that was like 65 pounds. And so, and then I saw Junior something, well, maybe he's a teen, maybe he's a 10-year-old, 12-year-old. I'm like, wow, man. So I said, that's why he can put out so much power, because he has no weight. He's really not heavy. So I didn't send him around a friend thing, man. I'm sorry. He seems like a kid, and I know if I was a dad, my little girl or my little son was doing this, I wouldn't want no grown man sending him. So I didn't do that. But I raced against him, and I raced against BB. I couldn't call him BB because that's what I see, BB. And we were really fun. And I was gonna try to just stay yellow. If you look at it, it's flipping between yellow and red. I gotta actually narrow in where I turn red at. If somebody give me advice on that, because I know my FTP is 405, 406, somewhere in there. So I know that should be like yellow, green right there. I know when I get about 390, I can drop down to green. I know anything above 450 is truly red, but I don't know where the red actually started at. If you can give me an idea of what red starts at, because I'm trying to figure out the FTP stuff. So we're coming down on the end of this race, and I'm not really trying to bulldog this thing, but I am speeding up because I'm trying to catch up to them, because you remember it was an incline just before I got here. So as I catch up to them, I don't kind of back off, but I don't back off too much. I just stay where I'm at, and I just stay there. So as I'm riding, you can see what I'm doing, and they catch up to me. And when they catch up to me, I'm like, wow, man. And man, I was like, whoa. I'm gonna try to get back in front of them, and I start putting the power in because I saw the 2 come up, and when I saw the 2 come up, I was like, man, these guys coming. And man, when I say BB and AJ came past me flying, and I looked at AJ, I'm like, wow, 8.7, 9, 10. You know, it's rare for me to see people with that power number. I'm always wondering, what would I have to do to get to that 10? And man, I want to say thank you for that. And we finna scoot over to the next race, because I want to get them both in, and I don't want to spend all the time just talking on here, but I'm glad. I looked at it, like I said, I looked at that race, and you see, I wasn't off about a second and a half. So now we're on to the second race. And on this race, I've truly sped it up, because I was thinking that, you know, man, the guy in front right here, I want to say, we was riding together for a while. I don't know what had the one with the Canadian Fire, S. Leo. And me and S. Leo rode together for a while. And as we come out, you know, on here it again, I'm trying to stay yellow. All this, I'm still doing it now because I'm hoping that the Swift Racing League, somebody let me know. I don't know if it goes on a different day. Sometimes we'll move it around. Maybe it'll be a Thursday, maybe it'll be a Friday. If it ever does that, I'll be ready for it. But because it's on Tuesdays, I'm out of town, I can't do it. So, but I am doing the Triple T. A couple of my teammates told me about the Triple T on Thursdays. And I know most of the time I'm back in time enough to ride one of the Triple Ts. So I will try to ride the Triple T on Thursdays, and I will let y'all know when I'm doing that. So as we're going on this race, I see me and is it Philip or is it? I see Philip, and I want to say one of the Canadian flags stay with me. You'll see him with me for a while, and then he just kind of goes away, and I didn't realize what was happening to him. I want to say it's Philip Wilkins, and he's with me for a minute, and me and him will ride, and I'm actually using him to keep my pace going. When I got somebody and I'm trying to do something, like I say, he could have took off of me at the end of the race. And another thing I was trying on the end of this race, I hate to do that, but another thing I'm doing at the end of this race, you're gonna see I'm really starting to attempt to try to stand up. And oh God, it feels uncomfortable. It's gonna be a long time before I ever stand up on that bike and pedal. I'm just being honest with you. I don't give it no time. I'm gonna have to lose at least 75 pounds because when I try to stand up, I get flashes of my legs hurting. You know, like I say, for people who don't know, I tore both my quadricep tendons in my leg. That's the tendon that holds your thigh to your knee, the kneecap. And I tore both of them. I ruptured them about 2016. And they are not perfect now. I'm strong because of my hydro. I've been riding the hydro over 1 million meters on that thing, and I've been riding that thing for over 2 years, and I love it. And that's one of the reasons that I can get my endurance so high, because I've been doing rolls for an hour and 45 minutes sometimes, and I can really roll on that thing. I get 500 meters in 2.6 seconds, 2 minutes flat most of the time. And so most of the time it's 2.6. But my best ever is I've done 20 minutes. I've done 4,900 meters, and I've done, I'm trying to get 5,000 meters in 20 minutes. So that's one of my goals to do there. So my endurance is built up from that. That's why I have endurance. But here, he kind of just fell off. I looked up and he wasn't there no more. And I was just kind of baffled on, wow, whatever happened to him? I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I don't know. And so I decided just to keep riding this race out. It's kind of hard when you ride by yourself. That's another reason I was gonna run the first one at the regular speed and speed this one up. But I decided just to speed both races up because it didn't make no sense not to speed them up, because this it was just a by myself race. And when I'm doing that, I try to turn it into a time trial. I've only done one time trial, and I came in third because I was riding the race, and I looked up and nobody was around me, and I didn't know if I was doing something wrong, so I slowed down right at the end of the race. And when I came across the line, I was in third. I had missed first like 2 seconds, and I'm like, man, I had been slowing down for like 10 seconds. I should have just kept rolling, but I didn't know. I didn't understand what the TT means. So I trying to treat these like time trials. But if you notice, I'm starting to get more and more into the green, because it's kind of hard to stay pumped up when you don't have nobody around and it's not really a time trial. Now, I get more pumped up when I got somebody pushing my tail. So I was hoping that Wilkins would have kept pushing me. It would have been nice to see where I would have been at this rate at the end of this race. But we're riding. I'm riding pretty good on this race. But as you can see, my numbers are starting. My time is starting to go down because I don't have nobody pushing me. So I'm just trying to push myself. And also, I'm coming off fresh legs. I didn't even ride my hydro. But when I booted up, I was just gonna do a group ride. And when I booted up, this race had like 60 minutes before it started, so I went on ahead and just jumped into it. So that's the other reason I got into this race. It wasn't like I planned it. I was gonna do a group ride and just call it a day. So you're actually getting 2 races for one this time. And if I ever do races like I did last week, where I did the 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock, I will post them back to back. Like I'm doing this one, so people can see them. It's no sense in putting out 2 videos. Actually, it was more stressful that way. But as you see, I'm coming up on this race, and we're down to just 2.4 miles left in here, and I'm by myself. It's hard to really get super excited when you're by yourself. And I look up and I'm trying to look at the people who are close. Sometimes I think to myself, maybe I'll slow down a little bit, but it's a race still. I'm trying to still move up in category D. I think I saw where like the number like 300 and some, or from 100, from 1 to 1,000, you get ranked in your area, and I'm trying to move up in that area. So I went ahead and just did the race and finished it as fast as possible, as I could keep motivated to finish. That's what I should say, because I really lost a lot of the motivation to finish this race. And so it was more just, let's try and grind this thing out. So I tried to keep my pace. I really did try to stay in the yellow, but as you can see, I was constantly dipping into the green. The green wasn't bad because it was only like 300, anything under 390 I think goes green. So I wasn't going into 200s, but I was dipping down because I was just tired. I wasn't tired, but I was low. I was by myself. You know, you get kind of, I have my music playing, I have my TV on, but I wouldn't even, it was hard to stay super focused into the race because I was just trying to finish it up. So what I thought about while I was riding this race was, I'm going to try to stand up when it gets down to 1,000 meters. I'm gonna try to stand up on the bike, and I'm gonna try to pedal that out. I'm gonna try to force my way. You know, I'm gonna try to stand up on the bike, because I've been getting comments about standing up on the bike. So I told myself I was gonna try to stand up on the bike. Now, some of these comments I get are when we pre-race and I'm talking to other people and they ask me about that, and some people are pressed about the weight. And I thank you all. Like I say, this is an open door community. There's no gatekeepers. Everybody allowed, yeah, come on in and let's race. So we're doing this, and I'm coming up on the end of this thing. And like I said, I'm looking at it, and if you see my picture, you're gonna see me slightly try to stand. When it gets to 2, I'm gonna try to stand up, and man, does it feel terrible. I just felt like I couldn't. First of all, because of my weight, I would have to probably turn that knob all the way to the magnets of touching the metal. Because I just didn't feel the resistance. It just felt like I was up in the air. It was just, I don't know how to say it, but it felt weird. And as you see, I'm getting close. It's almost down to 0.3. It's at 0.4. And as we come around this corner, we're coming up close to the end. It's at 0.3. And when it goes to 0.2, you're going to look at my picture, and you can kind of see, I'm going to slow it down when I get down to 0.2. And it's going to get down to 1,000 meters. And I started trying to stand up, and I just could not do it. And I turned the knob so far that I wore myself out. I didn't have the energy. When I'm turning the knob that far, I can't go until I'm about 400 feet out if I turn it as hard as I did. I need to just leave it where it at. Tomorrow when I do my Swift Tighter Insider races, I'm gonna set it and leave it at a certain spot. I wanna say also, thank y'all for watching this race. Thank y'all for being there, supporting me. Like and subscribe and hit the thumb button for me. And then one other thing, ride on, man.